Hi guys! Welcome to the first of many Group Piano 1 class videos. So this class has two parts. There's the live class with Mr. Kierstead, and in that class we will be doing everything for this class that you can do pretty much away from the piano. All of the marking, all of the going over finger numbers and writing in finger numbers, writing in note names, rhythm work, questions, group meetings, all of that good stuff. And then you will also each week get a video. This is the video going over the content that you need to practice in your textbook, in your Group Piano Book 1. So the format of this video is that I will be giving you a demonstration of everything that is in the week's unit that you need to practice. I'll go over kind of some things to look for, things to think about, practice strategies. But the main function of this is to give you a demonstration so that you can see and hear what it's going to look like, and then you can practice it. So this video is not a substitute for you practicing on your own, which you very much need to do. And my recommendation would be to use this video as a kind of stop and start tool to guide your weekly practice. So I would encourage you, don't feel the need to sit down and do this video in one session. Do the first chunk on Monday, the next chunk on Tuesday, and just kind of space it out and save time and pause and practice in between each little element that I show you. Follow the practice steps that are shown here that we talk about. And that would be an excellent way. That would get you really, really prepared for anything that you need to turn in for the videos. So again, you definitely need to stop and start and practice along with this. That's going to be really helpful. And also, this is a great time, especially in these first couple of weeks, to be really, really disciplined with yourself about following the instructions that are on the page, following the practice recommendations, and a couple of those things that really, really matter. For some of you, rhythm is not a problem. For others of you, you may be somebody who's like, I kind of am a little bit loose with rhythm reading. You want to be very, very careful about that. Be very disciplined with yourself about that. And another thing is being very, very disciplined about using the correct finger numbers. I'm going to say it again and again and again and again throughout these videos. Be disciplined at the beginning with using the correct finger numbers, marking in extra finger numbers if you need the reminder. That is probably, other than just like knowing how to read music properly, following correct finger numbers is the single most important thing that will make you a successful pianist and get you really good grades in this class, because a lot of the finger patterns that we use, we learn them and then they're repeated over and over and over again. All of the technical things that we're going to do, scales and arpeggios and all of that good stuff, is going to have similar finger patterns, and there's going to be systems around the way that we structure the finger patterns that we use. And the same happens in the songs. So be very disciplined with yourself about this. Your instructor will take points off things that are not, where you're not using the correct fingering. It doesn't count as correct if you're not using the correct fingering, unfortunately, especially on scales and arpeggios and all that good stuff. So I'm being very dramatic about this because I really want you to take this to heart. And in the beginning, it's going to be easy. And if you're really, really disciplined about it in the beginning, it'll be so much easier later on. So that was a lot of talking on my part. I promise I will not do that much talking in any of these future videos. So let's go ahead and jump right in and look at the very first thing that we're going to be talking about for today. As always, just make sure that you've got good posture at the piano, sitting up straight. A lot of people want to sit way too close, so just make sure that you're sitting at a nice, comfortable distance and a comfortable height. And we're going to turn over to page 11 of your book, and we're learning a little bit about some keyboard geography here, starting by looking at the groups of 2 black keys and 3 black keys. So a great warm-up activity to do would be to just touch all the groups of 2s, and make sure you do it with your other hand. then do the same thing with the threes. And then your other hand. Excellent. So once you feel really familiar with that, we're going to look at the bottom half of the page, and we have this little exercise using the groups of 2 black keys. So we're going to start with the first line here is for your right hand. You're going to find fingers 2 and 3 on the groups of 2 black keys, and you're going to play 2, 3, 2, jump, 2, 3, 2, jump, 2, 3, 2, jump, 2, 3, 2. Great. So practice that if you need to until you feel comfortable doing that. Make sure that you can do it in time. So set a tempo and make sure that you're able to jump to that next group during that beat of rest, and that you're able to do that in tempo. And then we're going to do the same thing with left hand, starting in the middle. 2, 3, 2. 2, 3, 2, jump. 2, 3, 2, jump. 2, 3, 2, jump. 2, 3, 2. Great. And go ahead and practice that one as well, if you need to, until you feel very comfortable. And then we will go ahead and turn over to page 12. And this is the exact same exercise, basically. Now we're just using our groups of 3 black keys. And again, the first one is for the right hand. The second one is for the left hand. So with our right hand, we're going to find fingers 2, 3, 4 on the group of 3 black keys. And you're going to go 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold, jump, up. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold, jump, up. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold, jump, up. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold it out. Excellent job. Something else to just mention really quickly is that if you're working on a keyboard that is a little bit smaller than my piano here, that is completely fine. It's not a problem at all. When you have like 4 groups of notes, just make sure you start down low enough or high enough or whatever that you can move all the way up or all the way down on those groups. You can also repeat on the same octave, and that's fine. But feel free to modify as you need if you're on a keyboard that's a little bit smaller than an acoustic piano. So now we're going to do the exact same thing with our left hand. And for this one, you are going to need to, even on an acoustic piano, you need to start up just a little bit higher to be able to jump down all 4 groups. And we're going to play 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold, jump, down. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold, jump, down. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, hold, jump, down. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful job. Excellent. So we are going to now jump over to page 13, and this is a little bit of a black key improvisation. The great thing about playing on the black keys is that you can play notes in almost any order, and they're going to sound really good. It's a super fun way to be creative on the piano and play around even when you're not an expert just yet. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of improvise a short melody, and you're going to play along with the accompaniment that I have here. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to have 4 bars of introduction, and then you are going to improvise a melody. They have a little rhythm value suggestion for you here of what note values you could use. I don't really care if you do that. It would be a great thing to practice, especially if you need a little bit of rhythm practice, but you can feel free to play whatever rhythms you want. You can also feel free to play in the introduction if you want to. Doesn't really matter. But you're going to find this hand position here with your left hand 2, 3 on a group of 2 black keys, your right hand 2, 3, 4 on a group of 3 black keys. And I'm just going to go ahead and play both of these accompaniments for you. And you can listen to these as many times as you want, and try doing as many different improvisations as you want. You could try one with the rhythms they have, one without, one playing with the introduction, one without, whatever you want to do and whatever you feel serves your practice the best. So I will go ahead and give you the accompaniment here. All right, so here is the first accompaniment. 1, 2, ready, go. Here you go. And I'm going to repeat just for fun. And when you're done with that one and ready to move on, here is the next accompaniment. 1, ready, go. Here you go. Now repeat this one, 2. Beautiful job. So again, feel free to use those as many times as you want. Be creative and use as much of what they have on the page as you feel works best for you. All right, so next we're going to look at page 14. And here we're talking now about playing on the white keys and naming the white keys. So our musical alphabet is only 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and they repeat over and over and over again on the piano. So the first exercise that we're going to do has you playing every key from low to high on the piano. So starting from the lowest note and going all the way up to the highest note, saying the letter names out loud. Now on an acoustic piano, the lowest note is A. On a lot of keyboards, if you have a keyboard that's not 88 keys, it's sometimes C and then other times it's F. So it can just be a little bit different. The way to tell is to look for the groups of black keys and figure out which one it is. If you have one lonely black key at the bottom that's actually not part of a group, as you can kind of see right here, I just have one by myself. That means that the lowest note on your keyboard is an A. If you have just 2 black keys at the very bottom of your keyboard with no lonely single key, it's probably a C. And if you have groups of 3 black keys, then the lowest note is probably an F, maybe an E. Sometimes it's different, but you can look to the next couple of pages to determine that for sure. So you may need to start on a different letter than A, but it's going to be the same thing. You're just going to start in the middle and then you get back to A, and it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So, but we're going to play, and I'm going to say the note names on my piano that goes from A all the way up. So here's what you're going to do. And let's use our left hand finger 3 until we get to middle C, which is the C in the middle of your piano. When we get here, we're going to switch over to right hand finger 3, okay? And make sure, even if it seems a little weird, say the note names out loud as you go. It'll be helpful. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, switch, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C. Good job. So, and again, you stop wherever your piano stops. So you do whatever works best for you. We're going to look right here at the bottom. An octave is the distance from one key on the keyboard to the next key with the same letter name. So an octave up from C would be the higher C. An octave lower than C would be the lower C. And when we find our white keys, going over to page 15, we're going to be finding them. We're going to be jumping octaves on the piano. So we are going to practice finding all of the different white keys that you have on the piano. And I'm not going to show you this because it's fairly self-explanatory. But what you're going to do is, I'll show you the first one. You're just going to play, so you're going to find D. D is a really easy one to find because it's in between the two black keys, just right in between. And you're just going to play from bottom to top, then top down with the other hand. And so then you're going to do that following the examples that they have down here. Also, they're going to have you do G and A at the same time because G and A are kind of the trickiest ones. And if you can find those two together, that's a little bit easier. So you're going to do that with D, then with C, then with E, then with G and A together, following the little pattern they have demonstrated right here. Then with F, then with B. And then I would also try doing G and A separately. They don't tell you to do that, but I would go ahead and just find all the G's and then just find all the A's. And it's fairly straightforward. And once you get the feeling of jumping up an octave, it's really not so bad. So now we will move right on to page 16. And for this one, we're going to be practicing finding our groups of keys C, D, E. So to find the groups of keys, C, D, E, we look for the group of two black keys and then we slide down to the group of white keys right underneath. And if you can find them all individually, you should have no problem finding them all together. So we're going to be jumping from the middle all the way up with the right hand for the first exercise and then going backwards, E, D, C, with the left hand going from the middle all the way down. So here's the first one. Again, I would recommend, even though maybe it's a little awkward, it would be a great idea to try saying the note names out loud. It would be really helpful. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, jump. C, D, E, jump. C, D, E, jump. C, hold. D, hold. E, 2, 3, 4. Great. And if you want a little bit of a challenge on this one too, try doing it just like that and then try doing it actually backwards with your right hand. So going E, D, C, jump. E, D, C, jump. E, D, C, jump. E, D, C. And that will lead us right into what we do with the left hand. We're going to start with our left hand fingers 1, 2, 3 on C, D, E, but you'll start with your thumb on E. So we're going to start with E for the left hand one. 1, 2, ready, go. E, D, C, jump. E, D, C, jump. E, D, C, jump. E, hold. D, hold. C, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful job. So moving on to page 17. Again, practice that one as much as you need until you feel like you can do that fairly easily. The next page is the FGAB groups. Very similar. We just look for the group of 3 black keys and we slide down to that group of 4 keys right there. And that's our FGAB. So we're going to start This one is a little bit different because both of these exercises are going to use both hands. I call it the bunny ears hand position, like you did in middle school pictures or whatever. You're going to play left hand 3-2 on F, G, right hand 2-3 on A, B, F, G, A, B, F, G, A, B, F, G, A, B. And then you're going to do that jumping up the keyboard. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. F, G, A, B, jump up, find the keys. F, G, A, B, jump up, find the keys. F, G, A, B. Sorry, folks, that was my landlord. I had to renew my lease so that I can continue living here. Let's go ahead and try this one more time. Bunny ears, ready, go. 1, 2, ready, go. F, G, A, B, jump up, find the notes. F, G, A, B, jump up, find the notes. F, G, A, B, jump up. Last time. F, G, A, B. Perfect. And then the second exercise on the bottom of the page is doing this just backwards. So we start at the high end and then we're going to jump down. 1, 2, ready, go. B, A, G, F, jump down and go. B, A, G, F, jump down and go. B, A, G, F. And they have each of these kind of written just like 3 or 4 times. You can do it as much as you have room on your piano or keyboard would be excellent. So feel free to extend either of those exercises or both of them to be just a little bit longer. So we're going to jump over to page 18 now. And we have our song here, Summer Night. So this one, if you look at it, we are doing just having the note names written in the little note heads, just like we did for the other exercises. And they have a little hand position demonstrated for you here. We also are introducing the idea of our repeat signs and our first and second endings. I would imagine most of you guys are probably familiar with how that works. But basically, you play the first ending the first time only. And we have the repeat sign, which means we go all the way back to the beginning, play the whole thing one more time. And this time we skip that first ending and we just go to the second ending, okay? So feel free to just review that, mark places if you need to, use a pencil or highlighter or something to show yourself where you jump in that song if you need the reminder. So for this one, we are starting with our right hand finger 2 on E, right hand finger 2 on E, and we are not going to be using the left hand in this song at all. It is literally just the right hand. So a great idea to do this one for practicing would be to just tap through the notes with just tapping with your fingers instead of actually playing. Maybe tapping or clapping the rhythm out loud or saying the names of the notes before you go through. So either of those 3 would be a great practice strategy for you to just try before you give it a go playing. And I'll just go ahead and demonstrate how it's going to sound put together and I will say the note names out loud as we go. 1, 2, ready, go. E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, E, F, E, D, back to the beginning, and E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, Now skip to the second ending. G, F, E, D, E, 2, 3, 4. Fabulous. So go ahead and practice that through if you need to a couple of times until you can feel that you can play it really steadily, really consistently. And then we will go ahead and give this one a try with the teacher accompaniment part. So I will count us in and I will be playing. So I'm playing 8 notes here while you're playing quarter notes. So my part is going to go a little bit faster. I'll just go ahead and count us in. 1, 2, ready, go. Beautiful. So go ahead and practice that one with the teacher part. It may seem like this is really difficult. Is it even worth it to bother with this? That's because a lot of times we can think that we have a song mastered and that we're doing it perfectly and everything is great. And then it turns out that it's like, oh, I'm actually taking lots of little pauses, or I'm maybe not playing with super consistent tempo. And that kind of stuff just gets really highlighted by playing with the teacher part. It is a really, really good thing to practice and a really, really good thing to work on because it's so challenging. Just because it really helps you to have to practice playing piano with another person, which for most of you who are educators, you know, that's the goal anyways, is that you're going to be playing piano for students, whether that's in a classroom or private students or whatever. You want to be able to have that skill. And it also is just a really great way to really keep you on track with rhythm reading and those other kind of elements. So let's go ahead and jump over to the next page, which is talking about our half steps and whole steps. And for this one, they're going to be introducing the concept of our sharps and flats sign. And so the sharp sign before a note is that you're going to play the next key to the right, whether it's a black key or white key. So if you notice, we play every key, like in an octave from one to the next, and we play all of the keys black and white. We kind of have a little pattern that pops up. And most of the time, the key that's directly to the right is going to be a black key. But in some places, such as B to C and E to F, the B sharp would actually be C, the same as a C natural. And E sharp would actually be the same key as F natural, just the regular one. So there's just a couple of places where the sharp is actually, a lot of times we associate that a sharp is the black key, but it's not always. It usually is, but not in every instance. And the same thing with flats. Flats just mean the key directly to the left, whether it's a black key or a white key. And most of the time, flats are a black key, but in some cases, F flat is the same key as E natural, C flat is the same key as B natural. But most of the time, it's going to be a black key. So a half step is the distance from any key to the very next key above or below it, black or white, and there is no key in between. So playing half steps looks like playing C to C sharp to D is a half step, C to D sharp is a half step, D sharp to E is a half step, E to F is a half step because there's no key in between. F to F sharp to G, G sharp to A sharp, G sharp to G to G sharp, G sharp to A to B flat, B flat to B. And as you guys have probably noticed, you can call the black keys a sharp or a flat. There's some conventions around that, but we don't really have to worry about it for today. A whole step is equal to 2 half steps. So you would skip one key in between, whether that's a black key or a white key. So C to D would be a whole step. D to E would be a whole step. F to G, G to A to B, are C sharp to D sharp, F sharp to G sharp, G sharp to A sharp. Also, there's a couple places where it's a little bit tricky. We could have B to C sharp. That's one of those places where the key that would be right in the middle would be a white key. So we could have a whole step that's a white key to a black key, or a black key to a white key, such as D sharp to F, or E flat to F. So go ahead and try playing. I want you to find a half step that starts on a black key, a half step that starts on a white key, a whole step that starts on a black key, a whole step that starts on a white key, and whole steps that don't match, where it's not black key and white key, or where it's not black key and black key or white key and white key, but find me some whole steps that don't match. So go through and give those things all a try, and then we are going to turn over and look at the next couple of pages. Here's a short break in our regularly scheduled content for a little kitten moment. This is my baby. Can you say hi to the people? Can you say hi to the piano class? They're working so hard. They're doing so good. Every time you don't practice, she's a pretty happy kitten, actually. She doesn't get that sad that much. She's purring because we're doing such a good job. Look at that. Very nice. Okay. All right, so looking at the bottom of page 20, we're going to be talking about the chromatic scale. And the chromatic scale is made up entirely of half steps, so that means we play, if we're playing from C to C, we're playing every white key and black key in that range. And as you'll notice on the bottom of page 20, there's a very specific finger pattern that we do for the chromatic scale. And noticing the right hand, so we're going to start on an E with the right hand. And we're going to do 2 octaves for this scale. So we're going to go from 1 E all the way to 2 higher E's. There we go. And the pattern is that when you ever have 2 white keys next to each other, like the E to F or the B to C, you're going to play 1, 2. 3 always goes in the black keys, and then when we have patterns of white, black, white, black, white, black, we go 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And we only use 2 for those places where the 2 white keys are next to each other. So, starting with E, for the right hand, here would be our pattern. We go 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. And then we're going to go back down following the exact same finger pattern, starting from the top down to the bottom. Here we go. 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And so then we'll start with the left hand one, starting on a C with the left hand, and we're going to go down first and then back up. So here we go with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. Back up, here we go. 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. Great job. So go ahead and give that a try a couple of times. That one's actually a really easy scale to play. Once you are kind of practicing it and feel comfortable with it, it's actually really fun to play it fast, and it's pretty easy to get it going fast. So definitely practice it ascending and descending with both hands until you feel comfortable. And then we'll go ahead and turn over to page 24 and 25. And we have our little sight reading melodies over here, practicing reading on the staff. So in the live class, you guys should go over reading on the staff and how to identify note names and all of those different kinds of things. On page 24, we have a little bit of talk about some tempo marks and articulation marks. So tempo, we just have the Italian words. Allegro is quickly, moderato is moderately, andante is moving along, walking speed, and then adagio is slowly. And then we have for articulations, the long curved line is a slur, and that means that we play the notes with sort of a smooth and connected feel. And then the two dots, when we have a dot underneath or above a note, that's staccato, which means that we play it with a short, light touch. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the reading melodies that we have on page 25. So starting with number 1, you are going to begin with your finger 1. Notice they put, so down here they have the counts, but right here is the finger number. So above each one, they show you which finger to start with. So we're starting with right hand, finger 1 on G. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1. Wonderful. So again, a couple of practice strategies that you could do before you sort of jump into playing these would be to try them tapping the rhythms out loud while saying the counts, and then maybe just saying the note names out loud, especially if you feel like you are needing a little bit of review with actually just practicing the note names. That would be something that would be just great. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. And in this one, we have an E flat. And just a quick reminder that when we have a flat at the beginning of the measure, it carries through that whole measure. It gets reset at the bar line. But like in this one, in the third measure, both of those E's would be E flat because we have it at the beginning. And we're going to start with finger 1 on C. Here we go. E flat. Here's number 3, starting with finger 5 on E. And for this one, we have C sharps. So that's the first of the group of 2 black keys. 1, ready, go. Fabulous. So make sure that you are practicing those by saying the note names out loud. Another great thing to do would be to practice them saying the finger numbers out loud, especially if you are still kind of orienting yourself with that. That would be a great procedure to practice any of those. The next 3 are with our left hand. So the first one, we're starting with our finger 1 of our left hand on E. Then the next one, we're starting with our finger 5 on D. 1, ready, go. And then the last one, and in this one, it's the same hand position, but this time we have finger 3 on F sharp. 1, 2, ready, go. Beautiful job. So another great thing to do with these would be, if you need to, pencil in pencil in some of the note names or finger numbers, and then start erasing them as you don't really need the help anymore. You may find with these really short melodies, you memorize them so quickly, but it's still a great idea to just erase those note names or finger numbers that you wrote in to help you, just to practice doing it without them and starting to memorize what those notes look like and memorize what the finger patterns are. So, and then we will finish up with the last page, which is reading on the grand staff. So these have parts for the right hand and the left hand. Remember that the top staff is for your right hand, the bottom staff is for your left hand, treble is right hand, bass is left hand. Make sure that before you play, you find the finger or the hand position for both hands. So for right hand, we're starting with finger 4 on G. Left hand, we're starting with finger 2 on F. And remember, there's those finger numbers. The starting finger number is underneath each of the first notes for each hand. So we have the little 4 above the G and the little 2 below the F right there. So here's how this first one goes. Next one, we're going to move together so that our hand position actually has both thumbs on C. And for this one, remember when the C, if the tail is going down and if it's floating near the bass clef, you're going to play it with left hand. If the tail is going up and it's floating a little bit higher, it's going to be played with right hand. So here we go. And remember the B flats that we have in the left hand. Fabulous. And then the last one is going to have our right hand thumb on A, our left hand finger 4 on B. Make sure that you're also paying attention to which octave. So are they hands really close together, hands farther away, hands even farther away, that you're actually paying attention to which A, which B you're starting on. So here we go. Fabulous. So for this one, these would also be great ones to go through. Practice tapping or clapping the rhythm aloud, saying the note names aloud, saying the finger numbers out loud before you start playing it actually on the keyboard, especially if you feel like you need a little bit of that extra prep work. And you made it to the end of week 1 and you made it to the end of the first unit, and you can probably already play piano way better than you did when you started watching this video, at least I hope so, and you got to see a kitten along the way, so I would call it a win-win. Keep up the great practice with this one. Feel free to watch certain sections of this multiple times to practice along with it. And remember to practice throughout. Remember to be diligent with your counting, finger numbers, note names, all of that great stuff, and you will be super successful as we continue on in this class. All right, until next week, bye.